President Trump hosted a cabinet meeting today, and honestly, it was really cool to see because it went department by department and gave us a summary on what these secretaries are doing in their department. I would love to continue seeing this at least once a month so we can get an insight into how our government is working for us. I spent hours summarizing it and putting it in a thread on X, but I'm going to go through all of the bullet points here. And stay with me because some of the best ones are at the very end. Starting with President Trump's report, he said consumer prices have dropped, including energy prices, and the country is making approximately $2 billion a day. He didn't really say what that was coming from, but I'm assuming he was talking about tariffs. Then it was Pete Hegseth. He is the Secretary of Defense. He said he just got back from Panama and signed deals to secure the Panama Canal and allow U.S. vessels to travel freely through it. The Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick, said that he has been negotiating tariffs with all the different countries who have come to the table and that the gold card is coming soon. In case you don't know, the gold card is something new under the Trump administration. They are going to charge people $5 million for essentially a green card, but they're calling it a gold card. They think that it will bring investors into the country and create jobs that way while also, raising revenue. Then the Secretary of Education, Linda McMahon, said that they are fighting anti-Semitism on campuses across the country. They are meeting with governors and education commissioners as education moves back to the state. So she said that she is helping with that transition right now. And they are holding $400 million from Columbia University and $8 billion from Harvard. The National Security Advisor is Mike Waltz. He said that they are increasing shipping manufacturing. Trump signed an executive order about this and that they are going to streamline military acquisitions. I know it sounds boring, but we are getting to the good stuff soon. Next, the head of the EPA, Lee Zeldin, said that they canceled $22 billion in grants and that they are deregulating the entire department and especially approving power plants. They talked about before, a lot of these power plants were declined because of environmental reasons, and they kind of all joked that he just wants to approve. Then the Secretary of Transportation, Sean Duffy, stressed the importance of building ships because we don't make enough ships in this country, which is actually a national security threat because if we go to war, we need ships. And he specifically said there were 3,300 grants that were approved under the Biden administration, but they didn't fill out the paperwork to actually get them processed. So he said they're going through that and they're taking out social initiative requirements. The Secretary of Agriculture, Brooke Rollins, talked about how tariffs will help farmers and ranchers, that the biggest problem at the USDA is food stamps, and that she is working with Secretary Kennedy to revitalize the program and that egg prices are down. Next, the Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent, said that they are also working on tariff negotiations, and he specifically praised the bill that will increase the debt ceiling that the House passed today, and he had a meeting with small bankers to promote the Main Street agenda. Attorney General Pam Bondi reported that courts are siding with the Trump admin on spending discretion because a lot of courts were saying that no, the Trump administration cannot spend money how he wants. And she reported that some courts are saying they can spend the money however they want. And 11 defendants have been charged for possessing $11 billion in that, and they are prosecuting Tesla terrorists. The Secretary of Labor, Lori Chavez DeRemer, said that there is $4.4 billion in COVID funds that were not used, so she returned it to the Treasury, which essentially is returning it to the American people. She said since 2020, over $400 million in fraudulent payments have been given out. I'm assuming she's talking about unemployment because she didn't specifically say. She just said $400 million in payments. But then she broke it down. So 25,000 of those people are over the age of 115, which is not possible. And then 28,000 people between 1 and 5 years old, and 10,000 people not even born yet receiving payments. And she reported over 200,000 new jobs. Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, said that this is the second month in a row for a record of lowest border crossings ever. She's working with states to have a SCIF, to have national security conversations. From my understanding, what that is like you keep very secret material in it. You're not allowed to have phones when you go in it, and that's where they have really important conversations. And guys, this is a big one. The real ID is required to travel on a plane next next month. So if you do not have that little star on your license yet and you want to fly, you need to get it. And she talked about that they are working with illegals. If they don't just turn themselves in, they're working with them to leave peacefully so they can actually come back the lawful way. And that they are working with farmers to have legal migrant workers. Elon Musk made an appearance, even though he is not officially part of the cabinet, but he just said that there's been a reduction in waste by $150 billion and that the gold cards will hopefully be operational within this next week. And then the director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, said that they are increasing information sharing to go after the cartels. They are also working with local and state agencies to share information and found evidence how electric voting machines can be vulnerable to hacks and are working to implement paper ballots. This is one of the big ones I was talking about. She said she has over 100 people that are just scanning documents so that they can release the RFK and the MLK files within the next few days. She has workers who are like hunters going out to see if any documents are hidden in offices. So she has people going through like FBI offices and stuff to see if there's any hidden documents. Then the SBA administrator, Kelly Loeffler, said that they modified applications for loans where people have to check that they are a citizen and implement their date of birth, and that they also installed fees that were originally waived under the Biden administration. And the Secretary of HHS, RFK Jr., had some jaw-dropping things on his list. He said he recently started working with the EPA to reassess fluoride use. He's also working with the USDA and governors to get soda off of SNAP programs. They launched Operation Stork Speed to get chemicals out of baby formula. They're working with states to get good food and school lunch and remove food dye. They're also working with governors to restrict cell phone use in schools because it's proven that education's declining. And this is a huge one. They are reducing animal testing and switching to AI. Working with Elon to streamline the agency, and that the CDC has done a great job controlling the measles outbreak. And within that, they're trying to refocus the press to get them to pay attention to chronic disease because they're making the measles sound like it's the craziest thing that's ever happened when chronic disease is much bigger of a story than the measles is. And that unfortunately, autism rates have increased again. It was 1 in 34 and now it's 1 in 31. Listen to this. He said that they are already doing research into why autism is increasing, and he was adamant that by September, we will know the reason why. Even President Trump said, who knows? It could be in the food, it could be the vaccines, who knows? It's going to be a great day when we finally release that information. Then the Secretary of the Interior, Doug Burgum, he said that they are opening up land and offshore leases to unleash American energy, and that the first lease was sold in the Gulf of America. The Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, said that they have an important meeting on Saturday to have peace talks with Iran. So definitely pay close attention to that. And that no one has a right to a student visa, and says that the press covers them like they are birthright citizenship. That's what I have for you. I didn't give my opinion. I just told you what happened at the meeting, but I want to hear your opinion. What do you think about all this? Do you want to see more of these? And make sure you're following me for more.